Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we interview women executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
And you're listening to the Well Woman Show,
where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
Take time for myself by coming to things like Well Woman Drinks.
To be accepting of myself no matter what. Step away from judgment as much as possible.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride. I don't regret anything. Everything I've ever done, I've learned from it, one way or another, good or bad.
Being a little bit selfish for yourself, put your own oxygen mask on first and then give what's left.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
Hi, Giovanna Rossi here, and welcome to another episode of The Well Woman Show, where I interview women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs about their lives and their road to becoming and being who they are today. Are you at the top of your game professionally but feeling burned out, or finding it hard to focus on your goals, or unfulfilled personally? Or are you in transition, simply juggling so many things you find it hard to take care of your own needs? Well, you're not alone. We all need to activate the 4 universal superpowers. These are the internal strengths and abilities we all already have but don't use all the time. Superpowers can be cultivated, and they include awareness, intuition, action, and acceptance. Toward the end of the show, in a segment called Superpowers for Success, I ask my guest about her superpowers, and the answers will give you the strength, perspective, and power to live a well woman life. I'm so happy you're here, so thanks for tuning in. This episode of the Well Woman Show is brought to you by Collective Action Strategies, supporting organizations that support women and families, and by Well Woman Life Movement Challenge Quiz, your resource for living your best life. If you're in burnout or major transition, this is your time to figure out what's holding you back from making the changes you need to make in order to live your fullest, most joyful life. The cause of all of our challenges, personal or professional, can actually be rooted in the lack of internal superpowers and or external supports. Our Well Woman Life framework tells you which stage of the Well Woman life cycle you're in and what to do about it so you can truly live your best life. You can find out more at wellwomanlife.com/quiz. I'm so thankful for support from Natural Awakenings magazine in New Mexico, a monthly green, healthy lifestyle publication, and for support from High Desert Yoga, promoting optimum physical health, clarity of mind, and spiritual inspiration for all. Hello, well women. Welcome to the show. If you're a regular, welcome back. And if you're new to the show, I want to give you a big warm welcome. This is a place to hear dialogues and conversations with women leaders and entrepreneurs, and really dig deep into how can we support ourselves and other women to really live our best lives personally and professionally, and what does that look like? And beyond just, this piece of information or that tool or that trick, how can we really deeply connect and learn how to support ourselves when the going gets tough, And so that's what this conversation is about. And I'm excited because my next guest is actually one of our speakers at the Well Woman Retreat on September 9th. And so if you haven't checked that out, definitely go to wellwomanlife.com/retreat 2018. And I don't know how many of you are back to school. If you have kids and your kids are back in school, I know some folks aren't back at school yet, but it has been a crazy couple of weeks getting the kids settled and getting the schedule back on track and just adjusting. So there's just a lot going on. And regardless of what you're up to with kids or parents or pets or whatever you're looking after, because usually we are looking after someone, it's always a good time to take a step back and take a day for yourself. And that's what we offer you with the Well Woman SuperPOWER Retreat. So my guest, Kimberlee Maresma, is a licensed professional clinical counselor with a background in exercise physiology and holistic nutrition. She was first introduced to mindfulness meditation at age 25 with Dr. Ladd, who is the Ayurvedic medicine teacher. She teaches mindfulness skills to clients to ease anxieties and depressive traits. And she has a passion for cooking and really integrating cooking and health into her life. So I'm so pleased to have her on the show. Here's my interview with Kimberlee Maresma. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. You have a very interesting background and a lot to offer the Well Woman community. By the way, Well Women listening right now, you can catch Kimberlee at our Well Woman SuperPOWER Retreat on September 9th. If you're listening to this when this airs, that'll be in a couple of weeks. And you can go to wellwomanlife.com/retreat 2018 to check out more about that. Kimberlee, I want to start by asking you, what are you working on and how does it impact women's lives?
Currently, what am I working on? Right now, I've been studying a whole lot about nutrition and mental health and how they go hand in hand. I see a variety of clients, women, couples, families. And what I've been noticing is that many women are suffering with anxiety and sleep issues. And so much of that is contributed to what they're putting in their bodies. And they're starting to notice too, with just a little bit of mindfulness around that, how that's shifting for them.
Okay, this is such a great topic on so many levels. I feel like when we talk to women in the Well Woman community about leadership and about really living our best lives personally and professionally, there's a lot of emphasis, I think, in the mainstream around these topics about sort of, you know, learning this tool or learning this trick or doing this thing. But really what I want to do is dig deep into what do we need to do personally to support ourselves to be able to show up in the world the way we want to show up. And that's some of what you're working on with this idea that nutrition and mental health are so connected. And it just boggles my mind that we're still having this conversation about almost like proving the connection first, right? And then like, what do we do about it? So what are you finding and what are you telling women, you know, that they can do?
I like to remind women that they have an innate knowing and that we often as human beings struggle in our mind and hold thoughts about certain things such as nutrition or diet or even like who we are and what kind of power we have in this time in our life, and that we really have the answer within. And it's a whole lot about slowing down and acknowledging the body and what the body is feeling versus what the head is thinking.
Okay, now to do that, that requires, and I talk about this in the Well Woman life cycle, and we'll be digging into this at the retreat. But to do this, it requires a certain level of awareness to even just start slowing down, because we're moving. We're on the go. We're moving through life so fast that just to step off the train, right? And like take a moment to go within, that in and of itself is a big step.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I try to remind women of, is to have them cultivate some form of practice. And what I mean by practice is literally coming to yourself every day. So that might look like a walking practice every morning for somebody, a prayer practice every evening for somebody, a mindfulness practice, reading inspirational books, literally a way to stop the madness, stop the go, and to come into oneself and literally stop and slow down and listen to one's breath. I use a mindfulness practice and have for 20 years. It's easy to learn. It's not always easy to remember to do. So that's a lot of the work that I do with my clientele.
And it's hard sometimes, right? Like when we're in the practice, it becomes more natural. And like you said, we remember how to do it. It's not like it's something new. But when we are so far away from that and when being with ourselves is scary, it's probably a challenge to support women to do that. What can you say to women who really find it difficult to connect with the self on a daily basis because it's too painful?
I'd say to them, you have to start somewhere. And just the act of showing up and, sitting down in a favorite chair and putting your feet on the ground and putting your hand over your heart and connecting with yourself in a loving way, even for 30 seconds, is a practice, is mindfulness. You're not doing anything wrong. It's actually perfect just as you show up. And the more we do this, the easier it becomes. I'll tell my clients it often becomes like brushing your teeth every day. You don't think about brushing your teeth, you just do it. And so the more we step into it, the easier it becomes to remember to do it. And I also would challenge women around the thoughts that this is hard or this is scary, because this is a thought. It's not the actual thing. It's just a thought. And if we can challenge our thoughts, we can actually bypass that. Tell the mind, please don't be so much in a hurry to judge this thing that I'm going to do, and actually experience it. And it feels a whole lot different then. And
so I think at the retreat, you're going to be sharing some of this in more depth and some tools, and about how to do that. Can you walk us through, you already gave a few examples, but can you walk us through sort of an example of what you might talk about at the retreat?
I could give you an example of a morning practice that I give a lot of my female clients and my male clients to. Every morning, just for 1 week, you could just commit for 1 week, wake up when the sun rises. So somewhere between 6:37, or if that feels comfortable for you, maybe even earlier, and go outside to a special place, maybe on your patio or in your lawn, and allow the sun to hit your eyes, and go ahead and close your eyes while the sun is warming your face. Place one hand over your heart and one hand on your tummy, and just with strong intention, listening to your inhale and your exhale. And you can do it for 30 seconds, you can do it for 5 minutes, or you could do it for 20 minutes. But do it every single day for 7 days, and just see what starts to shift in your life.
Okay, so we have a challenge. We can do that before we get to the retreat, and then we'll be really ready. Kimberlee, you talk about the connection between nutrition and mental health, and then mindfulness as a way, as a practice. How do you think women leaders, and any leaders really, could shift the way we do things in society if people were more mindful?
Oh gosh, that's such a big question. I can tell you how it's helped me in my own profession and what I've seen with my clientele. often women come to me and they're struggling with being business owners, their mothers, their wives, their partners, they're running a household, and they feel really overwhelmed and super anxious. That's probably the number one complaint I get with women. And I often share with them, there's no way to really fully balance that 100% all the time. Instead of looking at, each day, like, oh my gosh, I was such a good employee today, but I was a terrible mom. Look at the whole picture, look at your whole week, look at the whole month and what you managed to do. The state of overwhelm is, again, a state of mind. And if we can look at the mind as an instrument to help us rather than hinder us, to me, it feels like I can pretty much accomplish anything on my list of things to do if I don't allow my brain to get ahead of me, which happens to us all from time to time. But again, just noticing the whole instead of this micro visioning that we get. I sometimes get super detailed in the moment to moment versus like, overall, I did a really good job this month. Look at all the things that I was managing. That's a lot. And giving yourself some credit and some love and gentleness versus judgment. If we can stay out of that place, we can manage pretty much anything. And I see it all the time with my clients. They're unbelievable. Yeah.
Okay, this is all great information, and this approach that Kimberlee has and that she'll be sharing at the retreat is very aligned with the Well Woman framework and the Well Woman life cycle, because we talk about awareness and then moving into intuition or connecting with that inner knowledge and then taking action, but not moving to action too quickly, because if we do that, we miss out on all the goodness that we can, all the good inner knowledge that we have. So we will be talking about this and how you can move through this cycle in order to really feel happier and more fulfilled. And we'll be doing that at the retreat with Kimberlee. So I'm so pleased that you'll be there, Kimberlee. I want to move into the segment called Superpowers for Success, so we can share with the listeners some of your own experiences and tips and tricks about how you've been successful in your life. The first question I want to ask you is, what does success in life mean for you?
That's an awesome question. I think at the end of the day, success for me is that I find joy. I find a smile at the end of my day. It's less about financial gain to me or power and more about my inner state, my inner being. If I can look in the mirror and say, you really helped somebody today, and then I can compliment myself and feel good about who I am, that feels like total success.
Okay, and when did you know you were really good at what you do?
I've always had a very, very strong connection with people. And when I was a really little girl, my grandmother on my mom's side told me, you have a really special trait that most people will not ever tap into. And I want you to always honor that. You have a strong intuition with people and with yourself. And I've always kind of known that. I haven't always honored it. And, now in my 40s, it's just how I show up. It's just who I am. I can't not be this person. And I don't want to not be this person. I think my clients would say my biggest trait is that I have a very strong compassion for others and self.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I think a lot of times we discover what I sometimes call our superpower when we're really little, but we forget about it. Yes. And society helps us forget about it. Absolutely. And then we have to, or we don't have to, but then we can rediscover that and really live into it.
Absolutely. I feel like that's often what I'm doing with women, is just holding a really, really clear mirror for them to see themselves, who they've always been. And they kind of go, oh, there I am. Thank you. And it's such an honor to do this work, really.
Okay. What is a personal habit that you have that contributes to your own well-being? And I ask this to all of my guests, because in order to show up in the world the way you do, we have to take care of ourselves. And so what does that mean for you?
Oh my gosh. I have a few pieces, but something that I do daily is I meditate daily. Every day, sometimes morning and night, but every morning for sure. And I also really love to cook. I'm a huge health nut, and I make really, really beautiful, nutritious food. It's my art, and I love doing that with my husband. I exercise, and I move my body the way it wants to move. Sometimes that looks like free dancing with my 5-year-old, or weight training at the gym with a bunch of other crazy people at 5:45 a.m. And I try to have really right relationships. That's a big one for me. Connection with my community, my tribe, people who inspire me, who lift me up, who support me, and are positive people. I try to surround myself with that. So those are the things that I do habitually. Yeah.
Okay. And what superpower, and I think I might know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you, what superpower did you discover you had only to realize it was there all the time?
I think I mentioned this. My intuition has been very, very strong since I was a very, very little girl, and I knew it right away. I would tap into things that other people didn't seem to notice or recognize. And that is something that I have cultivated throughout my whole life, and it's incredibly strong now. And I feel like it can continue to grow. And I feel like everyone actually has this superpower. It's just a matter of honoring it and leaving a little bit of space for it to come through.
And you mentioned that your grandmother recognized this in you and supported it. Obviously now you really use it in your profession. Was there ever a time when it was a negative, when it was difficult, or people said you shouldn't be that or do that?
I got told I was sensitive a whole lot growing up, by lots of different people. Sometimes that I was too much, and that felt like a negative to me. And I want to tell everybody who's listening who also feels really sensitive in the world that it is your superpower, and we just have to find ways to cultivate it and protect yourself from all the influence, all the energy that's coming into your body and your being all the time. There's ways to really work with it. It's just a matter of figuring out what those are for you. Not what they are for me or anyone else, but what they are for you, and how to channel that energy for yourself, because it truly is the biggest gift that you have.
Yes, I love that. And in fact, we dive into this in a big way at the retreat. This is a big part of the foundation of the day, is really looking at where we were told we were too much or too this or too that, and then re-examining that. So that's going to be really cool. I have a couple of other questions before we wrap up. What advice would you give your younger self, say 20 years ago or 25 years ago?
Relax. Just, I was such a perfectionist as a young woman, and I just wanted to know so much. I'm always been a kind of a seeker, a knowledge seeker, and intellectual. And I would just say to just chill out and have fun and laugh and play. Just don't forget to play. I took myself a little bit too seriously for a long time. I don't anymore. Thank goodness.
I know. I think we always do that, right? I hear that a lot from women about their younger selves, like, chill out, and then it's like, would she have listened?
I I'm stubborn, I think we all go through different stages and we get the messages that we need at certain times. We open to certain things when we're ready for it. And I think, I don't have any regrets. She was who she was, and she was really strong for me. And I loved her then, and I love her now. So I wouldn't change anything.
That's beautiful. Kimberlee, do you identify as a feminist?
Yes, maybe not in some of the same terms as of some of my other feminist friends, but I definitely resonate with that word. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and last question for you. What are you reading right now? I know when I came into your office, we're sitting in your beautiful home office interviewing, and there's an incredible bookshelf here, and we talked about some of the books. What's on your nightstand? Like, what are you reading right now?
I've been reading a lot about couples work because I really enjoy working with couples. So I'm reading Esther Perel, Mating in Captivity right now, and it is fabulous. I'm hoping to do some training with her in the near future. I'm also reading a ton of nutrition and mental health because I'm being certified in September in this particular arena.
Okay. Kimberlee, it's such a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Giovanna.
That's it for our show today. Remember, if you need support to live your Well Woman life, head over to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join us. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings women together to share our successes and challenges as women, leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one in your city yet and you'd like to start one, email info@wellwomanlife.com. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe in iTunes and leave a review. This helps raise visibility, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @WellWomanLife. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.